Hold on to your egos, folks, because the 80s are back in a big way. That's right, it's time for Season 4 of Stranger Danger. It's a whole lot of Stranger Things to unpack here. Firstly, there's a lot of characters. We got the full ensemble cast, plus all the new characters from the last couple seasons that I definitely remember all of. And we got a whole gaggle of new characters introduced this season. No wonder they call us Stranger Things. These characters sure feel like strangers to me. Even dead characters are back. Hopper is alive again, because Stranger Things can't seem to keep characters dead for more than one single episode. But whatever. On top of that, these episodes are long as fuck. The first episode clocks in at an hour and 18 minutes. Whoa, that's a lot of strangers. And there's a whole bunch of storylines and plots and ideas going on here. So let's get into it. So we got D&D is actually satanic worship, propaganda sweeping the nation. That's right, maybe D&D was the villain all along. I actually kind of like this idea. It feels like the natural progression of the series in a weird way. You also have these jock frat boy characters that are like trying to put an end to this satanic D&D cult. But actually they're kind of more cultish in the way that they are trying to initiate Lucas into their group. You know, it really makes you think when you think about it. Except also, D&D maybe kind of is the main villain all along, since there's conveniently a D&D analog for all the spookum magookums that come out of the Upsy Daisy. Speaking of spooky gookies, we got a new bad guy in town, the Gargoyle King.
Behold the Gargoyle King.
He's an evil Swamp Thing wizard, and he's the devil that made Freddy Krueger kill his family back in the 50s, because there's nothing more 80s than 50s nostalgia. And now, just like It from the movie It, he's back 27 years later, living in the haunted slasher house from down the street to kill off everyone in the town that needs therapy, I guess. Which actually connects to why there's all these extra bonus characters running around. It's so that they can get brutally killed off. This season is darker and more violent, and leans hard into the horror angle. I described the previous seasons as like an adventure show with horror elements. This season feels more like a horror show, which I'm down for. Stakes feel higher, the horror is bigger and more dangerous, and we have a creepy new villain who feels fresh but also still feels like he connects to the Stranger Things world of the Oopsie Doopsie. We actually have, dare I say it, a new plot. For the first time since Season 1. The Hopper plot feels very similar to the 7-Eleven storyline from Season 2, and there isn't really a good reason why it's happening now, coincidentally at the same time as everything else with the Gargoyle King. Everything else that is going on, though, can be traced back to the main plot, starting with the murder of Cheerleader. But I don't entirely mind all the Hopper stuff that much, since it gets Joyce away from the kids, and we get to focus more on the Stranger Kids being Stranger Kids. The season starts off a little bit slow. We got a lot of angsty teenage stuff, which, you know, it's kind of hard to avoid the kids all being teenagers now. It just feels a little bit less unique since there's already so many other teen dramas, even on Netflix alone. The season continues to build and get better as it goes, with episode 4 being an absolute banger. There's this crazy oneer, a Robert Englund cameo, and they actually made me care about Skateboard, my least favorite Stranger Kid. In comparison, episode 5 was kind of weak. 7-Eleven's plots are usually the best, but this one is kind of not great. Somehow, Matthew Modine has returned. I still have a couple episodes left, and apparently there's 2 more coming later on. I am enjoying it, but we'll see where it eventually ends up going. I'm also happy to be done with this series. Not that I don't like it, it is a good show, and it looks like they're pulling out all the stops this season and hoping to end with a bang. But man, am I sick of the 80s. This isn't even the first 80s nostalgia show on Netflix to have a bully attack set in a roller rink. Though I do kind of like the idea of Elle being a Carrie without any powers, just committing normal crimes.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
And hopefully Steve and Nancy will get back together, because Jonathan is boring. Anyways, the Duffer Brothers are talented filmmakers, and I hope they go on to make something new and cool after this. I think ultimately I would have preferred something completely new rather than 4 seasons of Stranger Things. Not that Finger Strings is a bad show or anything. The later seasons I find are pretty fun to watch in the moment, but don't really hold up that well on rewatch or when you think about it for too long, whereas Stranger Danger Season 1 completely slaps. It's a great rewatch. It's tight, effective storytelling, and it feels like you're rewatching a classic movie. But I want more new things, not necessarily more Stranger Things. I felt sort of the same way after A Quiet Place. I was like, wow, who knew Jim was such a good horror director? I can't wait to see what he does next. Oh, it's A Quiet Place 2. That's alright, I guess. I guess we just have to wait for this franchise to do a full trilogy before Jim eventually decides to do something else with his career. Same with the Batman. I really liked the Batman. It was refreshing to see a Batman movie that was just a good detective story. But now I kind of want to see a totally different take on Batman. Like, I want to see Batman versus Dracula. Can we make that movie, please?
I'm the Batman. And you're dust.
Mike Flanagan and Jordan Peele have been doing it right, man. Just new idea after new idea after new idea. I'm not sure how well Stranger Things 4 will play on rewatch, but it does feel new and exciting again. Hopefully, for better or worse, it kills the 80s and leads to us getting something new. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm not entirely sure if there was a larger point to this video or not, but I just sort of felt like talking about Stranger Things. So what do you think? Do you watch the new season? Do you like this franchise? Do you care about it still? Leave a comment. And check out this video that my brother did on season 2 of the series and why it's not as good as the first season. It's a good video. You'll enjoy it. And that's it. Bye-bye.